Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of WYTPod. My name is Harshit, and I'm the Director of Business Alliances at WYTLABS. We are a digital agency specializing in SaaS and e-commerce SEO. And I've got Victor with me today. He's the co-founder and CTO of ScaleGrowth.ai, which is a no-code platform to build AI-powered apps for networks like LinkedIn with marketplace like Airbnb. Welcome, Victor. I'm so happy to host you today.
Thank you so much, Harshit, and thanks for having me, everybody.
Brilliant. Victor, I would love for you to start with your telling us about your professional journey, a bit about your life, please, because you've been involved in tons of things. You've been CTO of multiple unicorn companies and pretty interesting. So would love to know.
Yes, I started out I'm a techie by trade, and I started out as a lot of people do. I graduated from college. I had a degree in AI and robotics, and then I went to Silicon Valley to join the fabled world of tech here. And started out as an engineer working for companies like VMware, before that a small authentication startup, and then fell into engineering leadership management, eventually led teams and became CTO at companies like Indiegogo and Redbubble and MedAdvisor. And also, my big claim to fame is at some point, I used to lead all of Yelp's mobile teams, Android and iOS, which at the time was top 10 app in the world by users. That was massive scale, very exciting challenges to solve. And then after a few years of doing that, I've been an investor and advisor in a bunch of startups, but never made the plunge myself. And then myself is my co-founder, Anna, who is also my life partner. We've decided, let's do this. Let's go and do our own thing, and haven't looked back since.
That's brilliant. And what exactly was the idea behind Scale Grow? What was the source of the idea altogether? Why do you felt having such product out there in the market? And what problem were you trying to solve with it?
Yeah, it's at its core, it's democratization of access to technology. So you look at these situations where people want to create, for example, a product community for their business, or a job board, or a market network, or any kind of like referral social type of interaction. And it's hard, it's expensive, it takes a lot of time and money. And a lot of times you have this brilliant idea, and then you go to your product team and they tell you, sure thing, it's on our roadmap, it's coming 2026. And you're like, that doesn't help me. I want to move yesterday. And what we want to do is we want to empower people to make a decision and really quickly bring it to life and try things out. 25 years ago, if you wanted to have a website, you needed to be a Fortune 500. Rent a server space, buy servers, hire sysadmins, huge outlay. And then there was MySpace, and there was the likes of WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, right? 15 years ago, you wanted to have e-commerce, you wanted to sell things online, you needed to be Fortune 500. Then there was a rise of platforms like Shopify or Stripe. Before that, there was like Magento, all of those, right? And again, it made it easy for people to do e-commerce, right? Yeah. And now, if you look at the marketplaces with AI recommendations, with decision-making intelligence, that's a hard problem that today is, again, a privilege of really well-funded companies and initiatives. And we want to open it up. We want to make it easy for anybody who has an idea. Hey, I want to spin up a product community. I'm a chief experience officer for my company. I can do it overnight. So that's the idea.
That's brilliant. Would love to know, because when you cite, you endorse it broadly, that it's basically the concept of AI-powered apps. And you combine elements, network elements like LinkedIn, and then marketplace like Airbnb. Would love to understand from a business point of view the benefits of it.
The benefit is to create value-creating transactions, right? So when you look at platforms like Facebook, for example, their goal is to have you spend as much time on there as possible, because you and they are browsing pictures of cats, right? It's entertainment. When we are talking about busy professionals, when we are talking about professional networks, you don't want to do that. In fact, you just want to be notified when there is an opportunity that's just right for you. You want to hop on there, quickly have an introduction, exchange a message, kick off a conversation, solve your problem, and move on with your life, right? And that's one side of it. And the second side of it is we all have professional networks, which actually have incredible value in them, right? I have a network, you have a network, right? YTLABS has an incredible network. And the true value of these come when you invite me to a party at your house and I go there, and then I meet Anna, who becomes my future business partner, right? And then I remember Harshit forever, and I'm forever grateful to you for that party, right? Because I made this very, very valuable introduction, right? And so what we are trying to do is we are trying to manufacture that serendipity, if you will, and to make those connections really magical and solve the problem of you have platforms like LinkedIn, but the noise to signal ratio of LinkedIn is I log in and I get a gazillion outsourcing and vendor solicitations, and you just log out. And so we focus on optimizing, putting the right content or the right people in front of other people, and basically streamlining that decision-making recommendations for them.
Gotcha. Right. In fact, the idea of basically interactive member directory and is a bit intriguing to me. And that's something that you do offer for the members. Basically, how exactly does that feature work, and what kind of impact that it brings to the table when it comes to networking and engagement with it?
This is a great question, Harshit. Basically, you can think of it as your own private LinkedIn that's around the topic, that's around in area of interest. The difference being, again, when you're on LinkedIn, first of all, the value of that network, you're helping Microsoft get more reach rather than creating value for yourself as a network owner, such as WYTLABS, right? On the other hand, it's about the noise to signal ratio, which I mentioned earlier. Right? LinkedIn has way too much noise. I'm not even talking about platforms like Facebook and socials, right? And really, what we see time and time again is creating purpose-driven networks and marketplaces, which have a specific value transaction for specific members. That tends to drive engagement. I'll give you an example. We have a customer called The Force Effect. They're the largest professional network and marketplace putting women on boards of companies. So their mission is, if you've ever been in boardrooms, they're predominantly old white guys, unfortunately, and that's a great shame. And their mission is to introduce diversity in the boardroom, specifically gender diversity. And they have this incredible community and network of really senior, amazing women, right? When the same women go on LinkedIn, they have the same noise to signal issue I have, right? They get bombarded with random stuff and it's not useful. It's not a good use of their time. When they go to the Force Effect community, they have a board seat exchange, they have a job board, they have a mentorship program, they have perks and benefits, they have investment opportunities for angels to invest in startups and syndicates, which are women-led. But they know that it's all around women-led companies and women board members. So right away, everything that's recommended, everything that happens within that network is by definition a warm introduction. It's by definition a warm lead. And what that does in terms of engagement and conversion is incredible. And so that's a pattern we see playing out time and time again, is that people to have that clarity of, okay, I'm looking to find a service provider who helps me with this specific problem. I know that if I'm a woman, a senior leader, and I happen to be a part of the Force Effect, I know that they have an incredible community when I can go and I can trust that to source the right service provider, for example.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I would love to know how customizable is the member app when it comes to workflows specifically, because that's one of the core features that you offer, right?
Oh, yeah.
How businesses can tailor it to their specific needs and with the branding aspect.
Of course. So 100%. The answer is 100% customizable. Every single piece of text on any ScaleGrowth white label platform is fully customizable. The core of it is custom profile data models and custom listings data models for the marketplace. Because we used to joke with data scientists back at places like Redbubble and Yelp that to create an amazing recommendation engine, to create an amazing decision AI, you need two things. You need world-class data science, which we have on ScaleGrowth. But the second thing you need is domain expertise and understanding of your domain, which we don't have and no platform has, right? There is nobody who will replace, for example, you at WYTLABS have an incredible understanding of your community, of your target audience, of what they want, what they need, what they like, what they don't like. You have this expert depth, right? No SaaS tool can replace that. So instead, what we do is we give you no-code tools where you log in and you build just like a Google form, but you're building a data science profile and a whole like a marketplace app profile, or you're defining what a typical listing on, say, your job board looks like, or your product community and whatnot. And by giving you that power, we are essentially extracting your existing expertise as a domain expert, understanding your network, and you are, in technical terms, you are essentially doing supervised learning with our AI engine and teaching it how to better serve your target demographic.
That's fascinating. Would love to know a bit more, and specifically like from a business point of view, from the admin point of view, what are features your platform offers, and basically around the community management and even improving the decision making for
That's
specific businesses. Yeah.
that's right. That's a great question. The other thing we used to say is that marketplaces are like pizza. It's
Yeah.
easy to make bad marketplace. It's easy to make crappy pizza. Anybody can do one. But if you have a really good one, it's a work of art, right? And why is that? It's about certain best practices. It's about certain, it's setting the right kind of touch point automation at the right moment in a user's journey that tends to lead to a conversion, right? I'll give you an example. Back when I was at Yelp, we had a special algorithm that at a certain time of a day boosted the rankings of all the restaurants because it's dinner time and people are hungry, right? But exactly what time of day and by how much those restaurants are boosted is like a trade secret, right? That is of incredible value. And so what we do with Scale Growth is we have all these tools on the back end. You have your own CRM, like community CRM for your marketplace. You have your own email automation tool. Think Lean MailChimp meets Campaign Monitor, right? We have a really powerful workflow automation engine, which you can do to create all sorts of custom, like when Harshit logs in and sends a message to this user or browses this kind of listings this many times, send him a follow-up or change his recommendation in such ways. So you have all these tools, but the real value is we have a library of best practice templates for these automations and engagement touch points, which is built around all of our experience building this world-class marketplaces, as well as all of our other customers, right? Because we do anonymized learning on all the marketplaces and social professional networks we have. So we are able to put in front of you and say, hey, for your marketplace or for your network, you may want to include these 3 automations because they tend to lead to, again, better conversion, better engagement, better retention. You can always say no, you can always say yes, or maybe it inspires you to do something slightly different, which actually often happens, and you put your own twist on it. But that's really the true value of it because tools are relatively easy. You can build tools, but knowing how to apply them, that's where the real magic happens.
That's true. That's true. And since you mentioned that there are so many inbuilt tools within the platform, like for email and all of those things, do you also offer some integration options to your customer base? Is it something, or because of any reason, that's something which is not the area that you want to open up?
It's a great question. So we actually have two parts to our business model. So we operate as a SaaS platform. You can go tomorrow, sign up on ScaleGrowth.ai, spin up your own platform literally overnight. Tomorrow you can have, let's say you wanted to make a marketplace for WYTLABS members to offer like discounts to their own products to each other, to help each other find customers. You could go tonight and by tomorrow morning, if you have a can of Red Bull, you can probably have that going, right? I have a prototype. That world is all self-service, right? We have a knowledge base, we have community resources, we have a group of people who are passionate about building it. You can go learn all these things. And if you're one of these no-code hackers, you can go on the journey. Yep. On the other end, we have a professional services team, which is you can come in and you can say, you know what, this is great, but my time is valuable. And actually, like maybe I'm an exec and I'm launching this initiative, but I have 50 other things to take care of. Hey, Scale Growth, this is what I want to create. Our pro services team can take essentially your spec, custom build it for you out of our existing tools. If need to, they can do additional customizations. And it's basically time versus money. And the other benefit is when you go through professional services, it's baked in with all the best practices. They'll take you through a questionnaire and they'll be like, oh, you're trying to create a job board here. Did you know that for job boards, these 3 kind of engagement automations tend to be really key? Do you want them? Yay or nay, right? So that kind of thing. So it's a spectrum. You can go self-service or you can go pro services. Depends on your situation. And again, it's fundamentally time versus money.
Gotcha. And since your platform do mention predictive analytics, trend insight, would love to know on that front as well, like how businesses can leverage and basically uncover more opportunities for them.
This is brilliant. Thank you for that question. And let's use an example. So we have one of our biggest verticals is product communities. So that's somebody who has, for example, a SaaS platform and they create a community around the users who are using their platform, right? And they can exchange best practices, ideas, answer support queries, submit feature requests, report bugs, etc., right? What we are able to do is we are able to give each user a personal portal into this product community membership where they can do all these things. But as far as predictive analytics and trend insights go, as the owner of this community, let's say you're the success team manager or you are the CPO of this company, you can log into this product community and at a glance, you can see what is it trending, feature areas, keywords. This feature area of our product is receiving a lot of questions. So maybe we should write some knowledge-based articles. This other area is getting a lot of engagement and a lot of interactions. Basically, you see the trends of what your users are doing versus what your users are not. I'll tell you another story from Yelp. This was before my time, so this is secondhand. But when Yelp was created, Yelp was literally meant to be Yellow Pages, right? That's the name, Yelp. And they focused on listings and creating listings. And then as an afterthought, the technical co-founder of Yelp added this review module. And nobody expected much to come of it. And then they logged in into the platform a week later, and then they see that like all these users are spending all this time writing reviews. We haven't even asked them to do this, but they're just like coming in and writing review after review of businesses. And immediately it was like an epiphany, right? How much value is there in that business decision? Now it became a super successful business based on that one insight. So that's what we mean by predictive analytics and trends, because we already have to do all the number crunching to run our recommendation engine, the decision making for your end users.
Yeah.
And by the virtue of doing that, you as a platform owner, as a network or marketplace owner, you get easy access to all of these trends, analytics, recommendations based on that. And again, you can use it, you can discard it, but as I always say, it's better to have the data and then decide if you want to use it.
Yeah, definitely makes sense to have data-driven decisions than shooting in the dark. So yeah, makes sense. Right. Let's talk a bit more on the front of how exactly the platform supports business, setting up a paid membership funnel altogether, and what all benefits or the features around it. That's something that you offer so that they can monetize better on the networks and marketplace.
This is a great question. So there is 3 ways that people fundamentally monetize. So when you talk about things like product communities, which I talked about, typically there is not a direct monetization because that's in augmentary offering you create for your customers and you monetize by basically upsell and cross-sell of your other offerings, right? Indirectly. So it tends to be a lead gen channel for the upsell and cross-sell. Now we have a second category, which is, as you said, memberships, right? A lot of these professional networks, they create paid membership. So we have a very robust user group access system with, you can have very multi-tiered permissions, who can see what, who can do what, and interactive paywalls and so on when you try to do things that require an upgrade. Yeah. And we have easy integration with Stripe and a couple of their competitors where you can actually just connect your Stripe account. So all your financials, all your tax, the word of your CFO is still under their control, while you can easily create paid membership subscriptions, add-ons, and services, and just offer that to your members as a very easy e-commerce flow. The third way that you can monetize, which is really interesting, is we are talking about marketplaces. ScaleGrowth actually offers you as a marketplace owner an ability to create your own platform transaction fees. So let's say you offer a marketplace of service providers who offer, I don't know, paid consulting to each other. You can then say any paid transaction that goes through this marketplace, WYTLABS, to use it as an example, takes 12% or 20% or 3%. You can define whatever that is.
Interesting. And because monetization is something which is doable on the platform, the other important question comes into play is about data privacy and security of the platform. So could you please put some light on that front?
Yes, just to answer security, to get it out of the way, because security is important, is paramount. We run on AWS. We follow all the best practices of the likes of, again, Yelp, Redbubble, Indiegogo. You are in good hands from that perspective. As far as data ownership, this is actually one of our key features. When you are a customer of ScaleGrowth and you are an owner of a platform or a network, you own all your data. And this is a really important point, because when you interact on Facebook, you're making Zuckerberg richer. When you interact on LinkedIn, you're helping Microsoft grow their business. But rather than capturing the value of your own network or your own community or audience. And so you own all your data. We have import-export tools. You're in complete control. You can always download all your data. You can always import all your data. Our platform will never do anything with your data except when we receive basically orders from you to do. In GDPR terms, you are the controller. We follow your lead. And in philosophical terms, we give you all the tools, we give you all the suggestions, but you can treat it as your own internal tech stack.
Gotcha. All right, Victor, let's hear one success story where the platform did like wonders for any business with respect to the networking and basically enhance their networking and marketplace altogether.
Gee, I have so many. The Force Effect I already mentioned is one. We have Australian startup network who launched on us, and within a couple months of launch, I think they sold more memberships than the prior year. We have one of our customers, Diversity Board, is the largest. It's like a private LinkedIn for folks of African descent and Caribbean descent to help introduce career opportunities for them through university and academic studies all the way to their professional career. And again, within, I think that the audience of that platform more than doubled within a few months of coming onto ScaleGrowth, and is now on a very unicorn-like trajectory, right? So I have countless examples of this. It's very exciting to see all the different platforms, and it's very exciting to see what people do with this.
Yeah. I think, and really like for you, because platform usability is across industries. So I'm sure like every time one industry doing really well, that must be kudos moment for you. Yeah.
That's right. And the trick is actually, the secret is, and I'll share you our secret sauce, is that when we see a customer do particularly well in an industry, we also see what exactly are they doing that's causing that? They ran this kind of marketing campaign. They did this kind of engagement chain. They introduced this touch point here, or they did this kind of interesting promotion program. What we can then do is we can turn around, and of course it's anonymized, but that becomes best practices for our next customer, maybe in a different industry, in a different vertical. But hey, what you're building is similar, and we've seen that this approach works and this approach doesn't tend to work. So again, we just give you that info, and then you do what you will with it.
I would love to know, Victor, what all do you do for your own B2B lead gen and anything around the customer loyalty and retention part as well?
Yeah, so we have no lock-ins. It's all, you can subscribe anytime, you can unsubscribe anytime, because we believe and we're confident that we will beat all alternatives. Typically, an alternative to ScaleGrowth is hiring your own tech team, right? Which is just you're talking 8 figures easy, and usually years of custom build outs. That puts us in a very good spot in terms of retention. But the other part that we are really focused on is we actually launching an initiative of like auxiliary services that we can offer to our customers. So think WordPress, how like WordPress has a WordPress developer ecosystem around it, or like HubSpot, they have all these like initiatives and like HubSpot certified professionals, etc., etc. And so we are creating something similar because a lot of times our customers come to us and they're like, ScaleGrowth, we run our app on you, but also we are doing this new marketing campaign. Hey, can you recommend a good front-end designer for the graphics for the marketing campaign? Or can you recommend a community manager who we can hire? Or can you recommend another SaaS tool for our back office, for our sales team, right? And so because we get bombarded by these inquiries already, we've recently decided that we are actually going to be spinning up end of this year essentially marketplace exchange for folks to be able to share tips and tricks of like marketplace builders and community builders.
Yeah. Makes sense. Now we're coming to an end, Victor, and I would love to have a quick rapid fire with you. Are you ready for that?
Sure.
Okay. What one word do you want people to associate you with?
One word.
Yeah.
Wow, one word is hard. I can do 3 words.
Use 3 words. That's fine.
Tech, easy.
Nice. Okay. What's the best piece of advice you've ever?
Spend an hour thinking and 5 minutes typing, not the other way around.
That's brilliant. Okay. Any funny nicknames your parents or your friends used to call you?
I used to be called a crazy bike guy at Yelp because we went on an offsite and I don't know, it was terrible. I didn't have a helmet and somehow ended up in the middle of a traffic on a bike. And they like somebody on my team produced a comic strip making fun of this, and forever that stuck. So crazy bike guy is one.
All right. If Kim Kardashian and Donald Trump were both drowning and you could save only one, who would it be?
Oh, do you have better choices of people to save?
You'll let both of them drown, right?
No, I'll try to save both. Everybody's life matters, but yeah.
Right. What was the last Google search?
Oh, it would have been a Stack Overflow for a very gnarly, large scale event system for data science modeling question.
All right. Right. And now coming to my very last question. What's something you could eat for a week straight?
Recently, I discovered the magic that is ube, and I can eat ube for a week straight. Oh, pizza.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Victor, for all the knowledge of the wisdom that you've shared in today's session. I really enjoyed it, learned a lot, and I really appreciate your time here. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. And this was actually, I want to say, I've done a few of this, and this was incredibly well run. And kudos. This is amazing.